Get ready with us while I tell you guys how we met. This was like one of the questions that we got asked most when we first became friends. It's kind of a funny story, but
kind of boring actually.
It's kind of boring. I remember it was around the time
of the Olympics.
Yeah, it was the summer of the Olympics. And I don't watch the Olympics. I only watched the Winter Olympics because I had like a huge figure skating phase. And then I just remember someone tagged me in one of Suni's videos. It was like a mention, and I clicked on it. And someone had commented on Suni's TikTok and was like, oh my gosh, Katie Fang is also moving to New York, because I think you had mentioned that you were moving to New York.
Yes.
And then someone was like, Katie's also moving to New York. You guys should like hang out.
I got so many DMs.
Anyway, someone commented, you should like hang out with Katie. I think you responded to the comment and was like, yes. And then you were the one that mentioned me. Somebody tagged me in the comment because I was going through my mentions and my notifications, and that's why I clicked on it. So somebody had tagged me and you were like, yes, blah, blah, blah.
Probably during the Olympics.
Yeah. Anyways, then I went onto Suni's account and she had followed me. So then I followed her back and then we became like friends on TikTok. Remember, we started like messaging and we were just talking about moving to New York, and we were literally moving on the same week. It was the first week of September, which also happened to be Fashion Week. And we kind of just had like a really short conversation on TikTok, and then that was it. And then Fashion Week came around and we just so happened to be at the same show. What was it? It was Tory Burch.
Yeah. It was Tory Burch.
We were at the Tory Burch show together, and I didn't see her at all the whole show, but when the show ended, everybody was mingling. Someone on my team was like, oh look, there's Suni, like you should go say hi. But I got scared and I was like, no, I don't really want to say hi.
Wait,
and then,
why?
Because I looked at you and I was like, oh my god, she looks scary. So I was like, okay, so I went up to her. And obviously she was super nice. Yeah, we kind of just made small talk and we were just saying like, oh, like we should hang out like soon. But obviously, you know, when people say that, it's never really true. And then we went our separate ways. But I think during that little like exchange we had, I think we exchanged phone numbers, because the next morning, like you had texted me and you were like, do you want to go shopping or something? Because we had
because remember we Love Shack.
Yes!
Yeah.
We got a
when
backtrack.
I met Erica.
Yeah. Okay, so backtrack. After the Tory Burch show, we ended up in another show together, which was it was a Love Shack fancy fashion show, and that's how all three of us ended up meeting each other. I think that's when we exchanged phone numbers or something, I don't remember, but we had like connected the next day and you're like, want to go shopping? And I was like, yes. Then we literally met up that day. We went shopping the whole entire day. Okay, this was after we hung out that first time, and we did a lot of damage that day. We hung out the whole entire day that day. We were carrying all these big bags, and we decided, you know what, we did so much shopping today, let's cook some dinner. Let's go back to mine and save some money and cook some dinner. We go back to mine. Oh shit, I don't have a single pot or pan. We had to go back out to buy pots and pans and groceries, actually, because I had like nothing in my fridge. And we ended up making pasta that night, and it was actually pretty good. And that's when we made a cooking video. It's on my page somewhere, but that was literally the day we met. But we bonded so much that day because we had spent literally the whole day together.
Such an easy friendship.
I know. And after that day, we basically just started hanging out like every single day, because we didn't even live near each other, which was kind of crazy.
And we barely hang out now.
Yeah, we barely hang out now. We live like 10 minutes away from each other.
Life is just so busy.
It's so busy. That's basically the story of how we met. Now we're on our first brand trip together with Ro.
See, whenever I make these fucking videos, I do my makeup mega slow.
Also, Suni's supposed to slick my hair back today. I think we're going skiing today.
Who?
Not you.
Yeah, not me.
Get ready with me while I tell you about my most traumatic experience, and is the reason why I have this scar. It's actually nearly been a year since what's happened, but long story short, I went to hospital. So for those, oh my god, there's barely any in this, but for those who don't know, I have a heart condition in my family, and my dad is still lucky to be here. He didn't know he had the condition, and then that's a whole nother story, but then yeah, found out that he had this heart condition, and then 2 years later my uncle passed away. I love getting interrupted.
Dave, she loves being interrupted. Come join in.
Recording?
Yeah.
Serious!
We thought you might want that Hollywood wind blown.
Alright, bye-bye. Oh my God. As I was saying, yeah, so 2 years after my dad found out he had this condition, my uncle passed away from it. And since then there's been more testing, and my grandpa has actually had this condition all along, but it's never affected him until a bit later on. But anyways, that's a whole nother story. So pretty much what happened was I was driving my little sister to netball when all of a sudden I got this wave of not feeling good, like a feeling I've never felt before. I had sharp pains in my chest. I thought I was gonna vomit. I looked at my watch and saw my heart rate just going really high, and I naturally have a very low heart rate. Like, I always get warnings on my watch being like, your heart rate's too low. And for me, sitting in the car, normally it would be low, and it was high. And then I started panicking, so then it went even higher. So I thought, fuck, I need to call an ambulance, because I instantly thought of my dad and my uncle, and I was like, it's happening to me now. So I literally thought I was going to die. So I ran across, like, I pulled over quickly, and I told my little sister to wait in the car because I did not want her witnessing whatever was going on, because I'm not even joking, I thought that was the end for Paige. So I went to this first house and they didn't answer, no one was home. And then I ran across the road, and I didn't actually know what area. I knew what area I was in, but I did that a bit high, but I didn't know what street I was on. So then I ran across the road to this old lady, knocking on her door like, can you please call me an ambulance and whatever. And like, I was hysterical, and this poor old lady, like, I was bawling my eyes out and everything, and I'm trying to get on the phone to my mum too, and I kept ringing and ringing and ringing her, and she wasn't answering her phone. And then she finally rang me back and was like, I'm in the supermarket, I've just got to pay, because you know when you pay for something on your phone you can't be on a phone call. And then she hung up, and then I rang again, and I was like, I need an ambulance. I ring my mum all the time, so I think that's why she didn't answer my phone call straight away, because I always ring her for like useless shit. So she felt pretty bad when I was like, I need an ambulance. Anyways, mum was rushing to get to me. Luckily, she wasn't too far away, and she actually got to me before the ambulance did. But I kept ringing her and ringing her when she was on her way to me. Like, obviously she was speeding and everything trying to get to me, but like I kept ringing like, where are you? Like, I was hysterical. I was bawling my eyes out. I was sitting out the front of this old lady's house taking my nipple piercings out, because in case they had to like zap me. Like, I'm not even joking, that's like where my brain went to. And like, I said to the old lady too, I was like, if the ambulance gets here before my mum, can you please just watch my sister? Because I was like, I don't want my little sister witnessing any of this, which the poor thing would have been frightened, because she was just sitting in the car the whole time while I was out the front of this lady's house. Just had to turn the light on. I actually couldn't really see what I was doing. But when the ambulance got there, my heart rate like kind of came down, and I got in there, like inside the ambulance, and they did like a ECG and everything was fine, but they still took me into the hospital. Then I was there pretty much all day, and they basically just sent me home. They did like tests and everything, and everything was coming back fine. So they were like, you know, not really much we can do about it. Yeah, pretty much got sent home, and I was like, okay, like that's so random that happened and everything's fine. Like, I feel like that doesn't just happen, but okay. The next morning I woke up and pretty much the same thing happened again. I rushed down to Dad, because I was at Dad's, and said like, you need to take me to the hospital. And he was driving so fast, because I was like, hurry up, like, and my mum was going to Shepparton or something for a netball tournament. So then Dad rang Mum, and then she had to come back from that, and I felt so bad. So then I spent like a whole another day in hospital getting tests and everything done. And then it wasn't until a lovely doctor also works down in the Royal Melbourne Hospital, and that's where my dad goes down for his appointments and stuff. And she got in contact with them, and they were like, no, send her down to Melbourne. She needs to be down here. Lucky me, got driven down to Melbourne in the patient transport, and I felt like a psychopath because they had seatbelts and everything across me. Like, I was like, what is going on? I was fully strapped in, and I didn't get to Melbourne until like 10 o'clock at night. But I was a brave girl and went by myself. Mum was like, do you want me to come with you? And I'm like, no, like it's okay. Like, I've got younger siblings and stuff, be with them, but I was shitting myself. I was like, what is going on? Then mum came down the very next morning, nice and early, so when I woke up she was there, which was really nice, but I was pretty much in hospital for a whole week. So I met my cardiologist and she was really nice, and then it was pretty overwhelming though, because I had like the cardiologist, the doctor, the nurses, the student nurses, like all of these other people in my room, and I feel like I was just a broken record because I had to keep on going over like what's happened in the family. So most of the time I just got mum to do all the talking because I was just so upset. When I was in there, I had to get so many tests done, and I was doing ECGs like all the time, like a few times during the day. Then they had to check my blood pressure, and then they start putting blood thinners in me as well, I'm pretty sure, because obviously I was sitting and not really doing anything. Like I could barely go to the toilet without being puffed. I think that's just because I was in bed pretty much the whole time, and oh my god, the cannula, gross, never put that in me ever again. So I had to get an ultrasound on my heart, which that was fine because, you know, that doesn't really involve much. But then I had to get an EP study, which I was like, absolutely fucking not. So pretty much what an EP study is, I don't know if I'm explaining this right. Nurses are probably going to be like, what the fuck, she doesn't know what she's talking about. But they wanted my heart rate to go back into the rhythm that it was in, to see like what was going on. And I just remembered what happened with my dad, because when he had to do that, his heart rate got up to 300 and they had to shock him back down. So I was like, absolutely not, I'm not doing that. Like, anyways, I did it, but they mine didn't get that high, thank goodness, but they put something through your groin or something and it goes up into the veins to your heart, and then they're literally like, it felt so wrong because I was laying there and my heart rate was like, my heart was going so fast, and I was holding this lovely nurse's hand and like I'm crying, and they're like, because I have to be awake for it, but they can sedate you a little bit. But I was like, give me more, I don't want to be awake for this. After the EP study was done, I couldn't really move because they went up through my groin, so my leg was in a lot of pain. And then those results came back and everything was fine. So we were like, now what do we do? Like, my heart is perfectly fine. I forgot to mention too, before I did the EP study, they pretty much said that I could have my dad's heart condition. So then I thought, oh my god, like I've got this condition, like I do have it. And it was just a big few days because I was like hysterical, and then dad's like, I'm so sorry, and I'm like, it's not your fault, like you can't help that. So yeah, I'm going to make a part 2 of this, so go check the other one out.
Get ready with me while I get ready for a show tonight and talk about the time I was groomed when I was 17. So I was about 2 to 3 weeks away from turning 17. I started working at this restaurant as a hostess. I worked there with my girlfriend at the time. I was so unbelievably in love with her. I met this woman in her 20s. She was really good at blurring age. I never at the time thought about her age or how old she was. She was very socially powerful. The grooming process happened very quickly. I don't think I ever knew her when she wasn't hitting on me. And I even remember very specifically sitting at my hostess stand and I just turned 17. Someone came up to me and asked me how old I was. I was like, oh, I'm 17, I'll be 18, so-and-so. I remember them very specifically saying, don't let blank hear about that. And they said it in a way that was like kind of joking, but also kind of like, this person has a reputation for being into young girls. I was also queer, and it was like also a queer woman. This woman was like not my type at all. The way she had the restaurant kind of wrapped around her finger is the way that I've seen men do that. She was like what you would call like a butch lesbian. She had really short hair. She was bigger. She was taller. She smoked. She drank. When things started happening between us, she was around like 24, 25. I think the main thing that got me the most was the manipulation of everything. When you are groomed, they like to use a lot of different tactics. Isolation, gift giving, love bombing, giving you nicknames. She gave me a nickname that now that I am an adult, I realize was very based in the category of infantilization. She called me Dimples, and that was our like little thing. She used to like find excuses to come to the hostess stand just to like touch me on my side or like go through my hostess book and get really close to me. And at the time I was like, oh, this is like an older person. Mind you, I was so unpopular in school, it's not even funny. So when this older person was showing me attention, I was like, oh my gosh, like someone that is older and queer and everything. I feel so validated. Again, I was around 16 when we first met. I was just about to turn 17 and she groomed me for an entire year. As soon as I turned 18, she pounced, but not before laying all of the psychological groundwork beforehand. And that consisted of lying about my girlfriend cheating on me. She was using it as a way to kind of isolate me from the one person in my life that everyone knew was my rock. The thing that was like the hardest thing to accept, and I only realized this when I went back on like Facebook messages from like years ago while I was trying to figure out the timeline, couldn't find anything, but I saw her name in one of the messages from this other girl. And the girl happened to be none other than her girlfriend at the time. She had a girlfriend as well, yes. This person messaged me and was like, hey, are you still with Megan or are you guys allowed to see other people? If so, like hit me up. And I messaged back and was like, aren't you with blank? She said, yeah, we've both been wondering. She knows that I messaged you. This message was sent 9 a.m. the day of my 18th birthday. The exact fucking day of my birthday. Meaning, these people were doing something called countdown grooming, where they literally kept an eye and waited until the exact day that I turned 18 and they wouldn't catch a case. I kept scrolling and saw more messages between me and this person. She had responded again and started being like, oh, do you know where your girlfriend is right now? I saw her over at so-and-so's house. I just wanted to let you know this because I heard that so-and-so had. This is when she started lying and saying, again, this is the exact same time she started saying it. It was literally a triangulation of trying to isolate me and my girlfriend to get away from each other because everyone knew how strong we were. She was, if she's doing that to you, that's super fucked up. Like, you don't deserve that. When you are told something like that so much, eventually you kind of like start to believe it because so many people are telling it to you. And I had already been groomed for a freaking year by my abuser that I was like, okay, like why would she lie to me? That's what they do. They sit there and they're like, I don't want to see you go through this. You can trust me. I would never do this to you. I'd never do that. It caused problems between us. Everyone was trying to lie and get in the middle of our shit, and it fucking worked because these were grown ass people and we were newly 18-year-olds that were just trying to navigate life together. Now I'm 18. These are two 25-year-olds that are fully aware of what they're doing. I've already done this before, already has history messing around with younger girls. This is when the grooming really started getting even more sexual. She used to do this thing where it was like, oh, well, when are you gonna stay late with us after work? Do you want alcohol? I refused, I kept refusing because I had curfew. Even though I was 18, I had curfew and I knew that. And my parents had always been really strict and I had tried to be a good kid. Eventually one night, me and my mom were not really on the best terms. And so I stayed late. I remember staying late, on the porch with these other adults. Eventually, it got to the point where it was like, okay, well, I've got to dip. And she offered to walk me to my car. Again, I don't know how many times this happened before, she started, a lot of it is a blur, but eventually she started getting in the car with me. We because she touched me, things like that. I remember those very specifically. And I remember at some point when I started staying late after curfew, my mom came and she was touching me at the time, full on touching me. We were doing things. There was a loud knock on the window. My mom says she didn't see anything to this day. Tensions are high. You're just looking for your kid. I get that. She kind of was like, hey, if you're not gonna follow my rules, don't come home. And I understand that as an adult, to a point. She said that, and she said that in front of my groomer. She said that in front of this woman that was already trying to do things to get me alone, and we were already doing things in secret in back rooms and things like that. It was very secretive at all times. This is where everything started getting so out of control. She was like, you can come stay with me for a little while. So I went and I stayed with her, and she basically moved me in. things went really, really fast. She did this thing where she we were together one night and she kind of randomly pulled it out. And all I remember is her saying, it's clean. I would never use anything unclean on you. That brings the question, you have a girlfriend already? Why is this toy in your dresser? Is it brand new? I think she said it was brand new, which is, again, did you buy this for me? Things that I will never know the answer to. There's a lot of dissociation. There was a lot of me wanting to make her happy. Being in those certain situations, consent is not really possible because you don't want to lose your housing and they provide food for you and substances. Towards the end, I started talking about missing people from my old life. I remember her basically calling me a tease and saying that I was playing with her emotions, and I remember feeling this aching sense of dread. So I was like, okay, now this girl has claimed me and I belong to her now. She protected me when I was being cheated on. We've lied together, we've snuck around together. She kept me very locked in and she was so socially powerful, it was ridiculous. Got to the point where I felt a lot of disgust. I forced myself to do a lot of the things that I didn't want to do, but I felt like I owed her. I think another really hard thing was growing up queer. There's a lot of things that I went without because I was gay. One of them being the talk with my mom. I didn't know what consent was. I didn't know what boundaries were. I didn't know we were allowed to say no. And I think I spent my entire life trying to make sure other people were comfortable and other people were happy. When they wanted something from me, it's okay, this is my job. This is my responsibility. Sometimes I feel so stupid about being upset about it because I'm well, could have been worse, could have been younger, could have had this happen, could have had that happen. And then I think about her body on mine. Or moments right before we did something, or me being in that house and just chugging and chugging and chugging and chugging until I couldn't anymore. And the blurry nights, and fractured memories, tastes I can't get out of my mouth. I think it's really hard when you have so many gray area traumas. What are you supposed to do with that? I have clear black and whites, and those kind of hurt less because they are clear. But when you're not the perfect victim, and you're fuck, why'd I do that? Why'd I let that happen? Why'd I force myself to do this? It gets really dark really fast. Let this just be a message to all the young girls out there that you don't have to give your body away to people in order to be loved. You're gonna feel that way because of the world that we live in and the way people pressure you. Sometimes it's really hard to see the difference between a consensual act that you genuinely desire when you are groomed and drunk and high, or just a debt you're trying to pay. Your body is not currency, and no one has a right to treat it that way.
Okay, you guys asked me for the story time again, so I'm gonna tell a story about the time that I got fired from this job and my boss literally was threatening me, screaming at me, all this crazy stuff. Sit down. I did already tell this story before, but I did leave out a couple things, so this is a revised version. It's the year 2018. I'm freshly 18. I'm entering my college era, and I get this job at this campground that my family, my grandma, grandpa, my cousin, all of us, we literally grew up going to this campground. My grandparents knew the owners very well. Literally we spent every summer there, so I was very familiar with this campsite. So when I heard that they were hiring, I was bet. So the boss there, we'll call him Phil. Right off the bat, this guy, I always remembered him being super sweet, super nice. He was a very friendly guy. He would always give us free ice cream, and he just seemed like that older man that just was really a nice sweet grandpa or something. I didn't know this at the time when I was going into my interview and stuff, but he was the sheriff of the town too, or he was the chief or something. He was high up in the police department. This guy was very well respected. Everyone loved him. Also at the same time, he had hired this other girl that I didn't
know very well. I knew of her, but also this other girl that I literally grew up with like my entire life, and went to the same like elementary school with. She worked there already. Like she was a manager, I think. At the very beginning, he has me working with the girl that I already knew and grew up with. We're gonna call her Shayna. And me and Shayna worked together because she was the manager and she was training me and all that stuff. Like sometimes I would work with the boss, Phil, and sometimes I would work with her, but mostly her. And she was like literally 8 months pregnant or something like that. She was like about to pop. So I was supposed to kind of take her place. I was like replacing her while she was on maternity leave. So she was the one training me. Shayna was the type growing up, like she was kind of scary, I'm not gonna lie. She was the Cookie Monster pajama type, and she would beat someone's ass. I think she went to juvie at one point. She was cool. Like me and her got along very well. I didn't really work with the other new girl. We're gonna call her Emma. I started working with Phil more than Shayna because Shayna was like, you know, super pregnant. So I started working with him more and he was training me. Whenever I would like work with him during shifts and stuff, he kind of just like really let me do whatever I wanted. Like bro did not give a fuck. And we would also sit there and kind of like chop it up, you know, just like talk. I started to see Phil's true colors. I remember he would say some of the most crude and like creepy stuff about Shayna, and then some of the most like racist and horrible things about her boyfriend, because her boyfriend was Hispanic. And so he would always make comments about how like, oh, he doesn't work, like he needs to get off his ass and take care of her. He goes to Sacramento like every week and picks oranges for 50 cents an hour, like he's a bum, this and that, like just making all these racist remarks. And then he would also make comments to me about Emma, the new girl, and how like, because she was a little bit more on the plus size side, and he would make comments about her weight, like, oh, you got to keep an eye on her because like she'll eat up all the candy in the inventory. And I did speak up to him. I was like, that's like really messed up, that's really mean. And eventually he did stop gossiping to me. Now fast forward a couple of weeks and I'm working there now. It's probably been like a month and a half, and he's starting to let me kind of work on my own because he wanted to retire. And so he was also, I guess I was just basically taking over for everyone at that point. I really had no idea what I was doing. He would kind of just leave me alone and be like, all right, like you're good to kind of just chill here and just watch for people who come in to like check in and stuff like that. And I would be like, okay, cool. He even told me, he was like, next week I'm going to this conference and I'm going to be gone, but you're going to take over for me and you're going to start working like full time for this week, and you're going to be opening and closing. I didn't have full familiarity with like how the system worked, and sometimes it was like literally a system, like the computer system was literally from like the freaking 80s, so I didn't really know how to use it that well, but I was like, okay, I think I can handle it on my own. So I was working completely by myself from the time I clocked in, like literally the time we opened the doors to the time that we closed. I did inventory, I checked everyone in, I brought them to their campsites, I cleaned, I literally did all the housekeeping for the cabins, like literally was running that joint by myself. Mind you, I have to also preface, I was working part-time up until that week, so I had only been working a couple days a week because I was in college. One thing that he did tell me was that I was allowed to bring my laptop, like my school laptop, into work, and I could do homework, I could like, you know, just kind of chill, relax. He's like, as long as nobody's here, you can do whatever you want. Literally, it's not gonna be that crazy. It was during like a very slow season too. It was literally in the middle of winter, like snow. The first couple of days were fine. Okay, I did lock myself out of the office and I had to climb through a window, but other than that, they were fine. Everything was running very smoothly. Also, there were cameras like in the office, so he could see me too. So since I had to be at work at 8 a.m. now until 5 p.m., I would bring my makeup bag, I would just like do my makeup real quick and like get ready. Whenever I didn't have homework, I would just go on my computer and start playing The Sims. Like, and Friday rolls around, okay? So it's about to be the weekend, and on weekends, the office is closed. Nobody's there. So I'm working in the office, it's almost closing time. He calls me to tell me, he's like, oh yeah, by the way, there's going to be this group checking in like after hours. So if you could just leave a map out like by the front door so that they can find their campsite, like that'd be great. Well, I forgot to do that. I'm so sorry, I have to make a part 2 because I'm running out of time. Okay, part 2, story time. My boss fired me and screamed and yelled at me and threatened to hurt me. At this time, I lived about 20 minutes away from the campsite, okay? So I'm like locking everything up and I'm closing everything down and I'm like getting in my car and I'm pulling out and I'm leaving. And as I'm on my way home, like I don't have service, okay? Because I'm in the freaking boondocks, okay? I don't have service. As soon as I get home, I start seeing I'm getting all of these missed phone calls from my boss, Phil. And I'm like, shit. I don't realize it yet. I don't realize what's happening yet. But he's also leaving me voicemails. I wish so badly, and I will try to find them. I will try to find the voicemails. I don't know if I still have them. This man is screaming at me at the top of his lungs. This is a 60-something-year-old man who is a cop. I can't even understand what he's saying because he's screaming so loud at me. He's also cussing and calling me like all of these names. So I'm like scared to answer the phone because he's still calling me. I'm scared because I'm like, what the hell is going on? I realize in the moment, oh, okay, it has to be about me leaving or forgetting to leave the maps out for the guests that were coming later that night. I don't even hesitate. I jump in my car. I'm like, okay, I'm on my way back to work. I'm gonna put those maps out right now. And he's still blowing up my phone. So I answer the phone and I'm like, hi, I'm so sorry. Like, I'm trying to like literally get a word in, and he's screaming at me, calling me a bitch, calling me like all these names, being like, you fucking idiot. Like, how fucking dare you? Like, you forgot to leave the map out for the guests, and the guests are there waiting for you. As I'm on my way back to the campground, I'm on the phone with him. He's like, I'm fucking going 120 miles per hour back. Because he had went out of town, like I said, he went out of town to like Sacramento. I pull up to the campground and there's nobody there. I run back into the office. I'm panicking. He's still screaming at me on the phone. And I'm just like, okay, Phil, like, please calm down. I'm back at the campground. I'm putting the maps out now. It's gonna be okay, I promise. Not me trying to emotionally regulate a full grown man. Okay, I'm like, it's gonna be okay. Just breathe, please. And I'm crying at this point because I'm terrified. He's like, you're too busy doing your makeup to like do your job. Imagine a little girl like me getting screamed at by not only like a full grown man, but also like someone who's in the police field. So I'm terrified. I'm like, am I gonna get arrested? I'm hearing what he's saying. He's like, I'm gonna come up there. He's like, oh my God, you're not gonna fucking hear the end of it. I'm at the office now and I'm like, okay, he's racing. He's racing up here. So I'm terrified, like he's gonna come up here while I'm still here and he's gonna hurt me or something. So I'm like telling him on the phone, I'm like, okay. I'm like, this isn't gonna work out anymore. Like, I'm obviously not fit for the job. And he's like, no shit, you're not fit for the job. Like, you're fired, blah, blah. I run to my freaking car and I get in my car as fast as I can. And I'm like sobbing my eyes out, literally hysterical, trying to like back out and literally skirt out of there before he gets there. And I'm driving home and I don't even know what to do. Like, I don't even know how to process this. So obviously the first person that I know to call is my mom. Guys, one thing about my mom, she's fucking scary when she's mad. She is scary. She does not care who you are. She literally was like, I call her up and I'm hysterical. I'm telling her what's happening. She's like, give me his number now. Mom, please don't go to jail. He's a cop. Calls him up and she starts cussing him out like so bad. She's calling him literally every name you could think of. She's never even met this man. And you know what he's doing? He's literally on the other end of the line, completely silent, not saying a single word. I wish I would have done things differently. I don't know how, but I still got my revenge in the end because you know what? After I left that job, I hit Emma and Shayna up on Facebook and I told Shayna all the things that he said about her boyfriend, all the racist things. So then it's time to go get my last paycheck, right? And he like messages me and tells me, oh, my check's available. And he's being sweet. He doesn't apologize, by the way. But he texts me, he's like, your paycheck's available. I don't respond to him. My mom's like, I'll go pick it up. And she went in there and she looked at him dead in the eye and snatched my paycheck out of his hands and just walked out. But yeah, it was definitely clear I was not coming back to that place after that. I was so scared that he was gonna hurt me. I literally was terrified while I was there at the office, like trying to put the maps outside, that he was gonna come back and I was gonna run into him while I'm like trying to escape. Obviously, my grandparents and like my dad's side family, they never camped there again. And I think he retired after that point. Like, if that's how he was as a boss at a campground, I can't imagine how he was as a police officer, as like a chief.
So I got fired from Grwm, that fucking burger company. So let's talk about why I got fired plus my experience working at this hell of a job. Actually, just to clarify, I resigned before they were gonna fire me because I was meant to have a meeting with all of like these people in HR and all this shit. So I decided to resign before they were gonna fire me. So I got fired for showing workers a tape that I made. I'm not gonna say it, but if you know, you know. I'm sure it's pretty obvious, but if someone can guess it, yeah. So one day I was showing workers a tape that I created, and my manager saw it on the security cameras. So then a few days later I received an email and they said, hey, like, we would like to have a meeting with all these people and stuff, and with you and stuff. Like, you can bring a friend, it doesn't have to be your parents, whatever, but we want to talk about what you did. Then went to work the next day and I saw my fucking creepy ass manager and whatever, and then like another manager that I really liked. She was so underrated, and I told them that I wasn't comfortable having a meeting because the other manager who sent the email wasn't there. So I told the other managers I wasn't comfortable having a meeting, so they said just resign and they won't have the meeting and whatever. And I was like, okay. So I sent an email saying that I resigned, and I had to wait there for like 6 hours. It was just crazy. After that, everyone at Grwm hated me, but I don't really give a fuck because I liked like 4 people and that was it. Everyone else that I worked with, they were just so like weird. Like, and I don't mean that because like we're all weird. I'm weird. I'm so fucking weird. I don't know. It was like this guy and he was like straight, but like clearly like his fucking gun was pink. Like, I don't care what anyone says. You can't just assume. No, babe, like he was gay but he claimed he was straight. Like, I'm telling you, like he used to do like the splits and straddle and stuff, and it's like, okay, like flexibility, like we love that. This other girl that I was friends with, but I then had to go at her because she was glamorizing like and stuff. So and you know me, I always have an opinion. If I don't agree with you, I'm gonna fucking tell you that. So I then had to go at her saying that she's glamorizing all this shit. It's disgusting. It's horrible. She's doing it in front of all these minors and stuff. So there was that. Also, I mentioned that flexibility closeted guy because he was really rude to me after I like resigned and stuff. He like talked shit about me and stuff, so that's why I'm talking shit about him now. Then we have one of my creepy ass managers. He was like 6'4", tatted like on his legs and arms and stuff. He was quite stocky. He was gay or bi, I think gay, and he used to hit on me all the time. He used to always ask me, wait, so how old are you like actually? And I was a minor, and I would be like, and he's like, no, like, what's like your actual age? And it's like, okay. So I would tell him, but then it would be like the next shift or the next day, whatever, a few hours later, and he would ask me again, as if I didn't just tell him, like, what are you trying to get at? So that was just really creepy that I had to keep on reassuring my age, which I didn't really have to do. Like, what, do you not want to believe that I'm younger and you want me to be older so you can hook up with me? And he never used to shower, and like, that's not me being rude, like, that's just like his life. I was also on a kids dating app at that time, and I found him on the kids dating app. So what is this 27, 29, 28-year-old doing on a kids dating app set with the preference of a really young age? Sometimes I started work at like 8 a.m. and then she would be there, the manager, and she would be like, smile, like, aren't you happy to be here? And it's like, girl, you're doing way too much. Like, it's too early to be doing all of this. Please calm down. Like, babe, what am I smiling for? To get paid, like, to getting paid $11 an hour? I remember there was a kid having like an anaphylactic reaction, and like no one cared but me. Like, I was offering to call the ambulance, and like the mother was obviously like, no, like it's all good, like it's okay, like just let me handle it. But like my manager didn't like do much until like later, 15 minutes later, until I saw her on a call, and I was like, what are you doing? Well, at least it was a very clean place to work at.
At 5, I'm start dieting, but it wasn't my choice. My dad forced me. If you get fat, I ignore you. That's embarrassing. I'd rather throw you away. That's what he told me. Since I was a child, I keep holding myself back from eating, even though I loved food. When my dad was away on business trip, I couldn't stop. I ate until I threw up, and before he came back, I stopped again. That became normal. Even as an adult, it stayed the same. There's no way my body could handle that. And as a result, I reached 5 kilograms. When you suppress yourself too much, this is what happens. Both your body and your mind break right now. Are you holding something in too much? I hope you choose to learn from before destroys you.
I think my alleged package stealer sent me an ominous message on Instagram. After I uploaded that video, they all showed up at my house. Very convenient. We'll do an unboxing in the next video. And it was low-key kind of threatening. Now, I don't know for sure if this is the person that is stealing my packages, but I don't know, you tell me. Could this be a troll? Yeah. Could this be random? This could be about anyone, because I talk about people all the time on my TikTok. Like, this could be about anyone that I've talked about before. Like, what are the odds? It's right after I post that story time about someone stealing my packages. Am I gonna delete the video though? Absolutely not. So Chuck, if you're watching, you listen here, okay? I don't care if your daddy's a lawyer. I've watched enough police cam videos to know my rights. I didn't name you. I didn't name your dad. And I also said everything was alleged. So I was talking to my downstairs people, and they said that she was 19. So Chuck, you better watch out. You can catch these hands. Allegedly, I'm just kidding. Allegedly, you can catch these hands. And if you could allegedly threaten me through DM, I could allegedly threaten you through my TikTok videos, allegedly. Just kidding. If this is even allegedly Chuck, like, this could be, again, like a random troll. This could be someone who doesn't even pertain to the video. Hey, you know what? No, I'm the grown adult in this situation. We're gonna squash the beef, okay? I got my packages back. Let's just call a truce. I'm still not deleting the video, though. I really do think you should have consulted with your dad first, though, before you sent me that DM, because, like, why would you do that? But hey, come back to the next part to see an unboxing of the packages that they stole.
Hey girlfriends, okay, so hurry up and get ready with me because I need to get moving and I'm moving really slow. So I'm gonna try to make a video so it speeds me up a little bit. But guess what happened to me? So today I went to a darty and that's why I'm like trying to like hurry and get ready because my hair and makeup's left from the darty, but I'm redoing my makeup because my eyes were watering. Yeah, that was a lot. Wait, guess what? I got dropped on my head at the darty. One, why was I in the air? Because I had fun. Two, this guy tried to like pick me up and like curl me. Flips my legs, like he picked me up so fast, like he like picked me up by my legs and it flipped me. I flipped in the air. And I had a little skirt on. I was like, okay, who just saw my cooch in my butt? This is like, kind of like little personal busyness. Okay, so back when I had a boyfriend, there was this guy and he sent my boyfriend like a screenshot and it like had his picture next to it and he was like, your girlfriend's cheating on you. And it was like not how I type it all. They were using correct grammar. I don't know how to do that. That's how I knew it wasn't me. And I wouldn't cheat on my man, duh. But it like this screenshot looked so fake. Okay, so but guess who was creeping up on my phone this morning? What do you mean you're gonna try to tell my man that I was cheating on him with you and you're gonna slide and be like, what's up? Like, how you doing? Sit down, shut the Second of all, like, I'ma hit you when I see you, it's on sight, but like, if we kiss after, cause he's bad, like, if maybe he just wanted me so bad that like, he tried to like homewreck my relationship, which like that, he was not why we broke up, keep that in mind, cause it wasn't true, obviously. I'll show you a screenshot. But I was a great girlfriend too. But imagine if he was plotting like that. Like, is that how guys think? Somebody tell me, because like, what do you mean you want me? What do you mean you want me that bad? I'm delusional, so like, yeah, I'd say slide, but like you already are. He's cute. I wonder if he's cute in real. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I feel like guys now like edit their Instagram like pictures, and I'm not getting with a guy that I have to edit because like I don't really edit. So like if I have to edit you, I've already dated somebody that I have to edit. I'm not doing that again. Oh my gosh! And before you hate on me for editing my boyfriends, if you would see them in a picture next to me, you would too. And I know a million girls that edit their boyfriends, so like it's fine. Like, you're just helping your man out for real, because I don't want people sliding up being like, you could do so much better than him. You know? I just got ding-dong ditched and it was a girl running. Normally it's guys, but this time it was a girl. Oh my gosh. And this guy today, he texted me because I was at the darty and he's like, why do you only talk to ugly guys? I go to the University of Alabama. What do you expect? Where's the baddies? I'm looking. I'm literally searching. Let me know. Are they hidden? What? Where are they? But, where was I going with this? Oh yeah, I've talked to ugly boys because I'm trying to build up my game. Yeah. I've been out of the league for a little. Girl's gonna get her grind back, and I'm gonna practice on the little league for the big league. Bite me. And those are my friends. Oh my gosh, but like actually the most embarrassing thing to me, because I hate whenever I don't remember somebody's name, is when somebody walks up to me and they're like, hey, do you remember me? And I'm like, yeah, like what's up? Like what are you doing? And they're like, what's my name? And I'm like, I don't remember your name. I remember your face. I don't remember your name. And how do you tell somebody that? It makes me feel so bad because like it's like a respect thing, like you should remember somebody's name. But like, yet again, it'll be like, you met me at the bar, and I'm like, you goofy goober, what? And I am not lying when I say everybody that has ever seen me out can vouch for me. Like, rarely do I ever have a drink in my hand because, not because like, I'm not like a drinker, like I'm not a drinker. I don't like it. It tastes disgusting. I hate holding a cold cup. I hate everything about alcohol. I'm not gonna lie. So like, it's not like I'm like out of my mind whenever these conversations are happening. It's just like, genuinely, how am I supposed to remember? I really need to look at what my friend just said. And right now I'm gonna try a super quick little eye makeup with these little pens. I'm gonna use pink. I'm gonna put it right here and then like right here. Like that. These are the Anastasia eyeshadow pens because pink and purple make my eyes pop the most because they're green. And like, what I have so far, and then it looks crazy. I'm literally just going to rub. That is so sick. Bye immediately if you suck at eyeshadow. Bye. I have this like purple Urban Decay glitter that I love. And I'm just gonna paint my eyelid just a little bit towards it's glittery beautiful. Cause I love it. Then I'm just gonna like take a brush and then kind of like make them sisters, I guess. Because they don't look very similar. Okay. That's the beat! That's the beat!
My fiance left 5 days after I found out I was pregnant. Story time. My fiance is reserves in the military. A few weeks before this whole thing, my fiance had gotten a message there was a volunteer mission. I told him I fully supported whatever he wanted to do. God works in mysterious ways, so he decided to take the volunteer mission. Great benefits, great money. Well, December 27th, we come home, find out we are expecting. After we find out, he decides he doesn't really think the money's worth it at this point. Probably best for him to be around for the pregnancy. I need my man. I'm not joking. The literal millisecond that we decided he wanted to stay home, his mission turns voluntold. Means he doesn't have a choice. He's getting deployed now. What? We have time to prepare, right? We have a few weeks. It's gonna be okay. No. Not only is it not optional anymore, misfortune doesn't stop there, babe. So, wasn't weeks away. In fact, it was a few days away. I'll tell you one thing, girlfriend, I can trust God and not like what he's doing. I'll tell you, we had a few nights of beef. One of the really good things is he's not overseas, which is why I say mission. It's technically a deployment, but he's not overseas. To add insult to injury too, it was supposed to be a 30 to 90 day deployment, and now it could turn into a year. As of right now, it's gonna be at least 6 months that he's gone. Me and little man are just waiting for him at home. On a real note though, I've had such a hard time even being sad because I know people have it so much worse. It is still hard, but disclaimer, I do know people have it way worse. That doesn't mean I have to like this because I don't.
My husband moved his mistress into our home and just expected me to be okay with it. Last year, my husband of 4 years and I moved into our home, which was our dream home. It was a little bit of a fixer-upper, but I was up for the challenge and spent the last year designing everything, redoing everything, and really making it the house that we always wanted. Do you think that man helped with anything? Absolutely not. He wouldn't even give me a single opinion, which I feel like some women may have liked, but not me, okay? Because it was very stressful to decide everything. But a few months ago, the house was finally complete. We were both absolutely obsessed with it, and all of the renovation stress was behind us, which was great, except my husband was acting kind of weird. He was being a lot more distant, working longer hours, but I was not thinking cheating. That's just not where my mind was going after so many years together. I just thought that he was really stressed at work and that's why he was acting different. Nowhere did I even consider that that man had a full another girlfriend. Last week, I get home from work, I walk in the front door and I see a pair of heels right by the door. And I know they're not mine, because they were ugly. I'm gonna be real with you. Sorry, they were ugly. I would never wear those. So I absolutely knew they were not my shoes. And I'm trying to figure out whose shoes they are. I hear giggling coming from upstairs. I am the only person that giggles in our home. So I immediately knew something was wrong. I go immediately up the stairs and into our bedroom. And sitting on our bed is some woman. Never seen the girl before, but she looks comfortable. She looks like she belongs there. My husband comes out from the bathroom and he just looks at me, staring at this girl speechless. And he doesn't even look surprised. He's just like, hey babe, didn't know you were gonna be home so early. But yeah, this is, let's call her Ashley. He's like, this is Ashley. I'm glad that you two are finally meeting. He's acting like this is the most casual thing in the world. So I'm thinking about him like, is it his new assistant or something? Like, what is going on? Because I don't like it, whatever it is. If this is his new assistant, he's getting another assistant, because absolutely not. Just sitting on my bed like that. And then, like it's the most normal thing in the world, my husband says to me, Ashley and I have been seeing each other for a couple months now, and we've decided it would be a good idea to just move her in. What? I'm sorry. Like, he is looking at me like that's a normal thing to say. Like, he didn't just drop the biggest, most shocking news I've ever heard, just like I should have expected it. I'm thinking this has to be some kind of sick joke, because my husband has never done anything even slightly close to something like this. This was so out of left field for him and his behavior, so I was just speechless. Then my husband just keeps running his mouth, and he said, you know, lots of people have unconventional relationships and marriages these days, and I'm sure that you want me to be the happiest I can be. So this is how I'm gonna be happiest. And I'm sure that you understand that and you'll support me. I'm sorry. No, actually I don't support you at all in this decision that you somehow just came up with Ashley and just assumed I was gonna go along with. And that's when I noticed the girl's already started to move in. She has suitcases with her clothes. She's already ready to just come right on in and be our third roommate. And I'll be so real with y'all, I lost my cool. I don't know who wouldn't have lost their cool in that moment. So I'm yelling, okay, my voice was very raised, and I'm telling them both to get out of my house. If they want to go and live together, fine. Not in my home, in my room, in my bed. Get out. Get out. He's trying to say that I'm overreacting and that this isn't that big of a deal, and he thinks it's going to be really good for our marriage. I'm like, shut up. Actually, shut up. I never want to hear your voice ever again. Ever. So eventually they leave, and he's like, we'll talk about this later when you've had a chance to calm down. Calm down. I'm actually never going to calm down about this, if I'm being real with you. And so immediately I call a locksmith and have him change all of the locks in the home, because I'm assuming that my husband already gave Ashley a key, and I do not want that stranger in my home. And then to make things worse, I check our joint bank account and I see that he'd been spending a ton of money at furniture stores buying her new furniture for our home. I just bought a ton of new furniture for the house that we renovated, but no, Ashley needs her own stuff, apparently. So I sent my husband a message telling him that all the locks are changed and him and Ashley can go off and live happily ever after without me somewhere, because I'm absolutely not dealing with that situation. He's been trying to contact me nonstop, trying to explain himself and trying to get me to understand why this is a good idea, but I'm just ready for a divorce. So let me know what you would do, and if you want an update about this situation, because I still can't wrap my mind around it.
ওরা তোর খানদানে ফেরত যাবার পারে না।
আমি আব্বা আমারে বুঝামু।
কি বুঝাইবে তুমি?
হয় নাই কা তুমি আমারে বুঝাইতে পারতাম, আমারে মারলা। অবশ্য আমগো বংশে
গাছকে এইসব হইতেছে। আব্বা আমি কই যাবো আব্বা? আপনি আমার পেয়ারা ড্যাডি আব্বা।
তুই আমার দাঁড়াবি না, দূরে থাক দূরে থাক।
আমি খাটে ঘুমাইছিলাম, আমার লাথি মেরে খাটে তাহলে ভাইজান লেটে লেটে সারে ঘুমাইছে।
হারামজাদা মিছে কথা কস্তুর।
বউ সেবা সুন্দর করে না করতে পারলে জামাই পিটানোর রেওয়াজও আছে। আই তুমি কুস্তি পারো?
না
জি ভাইজান, ভাবি ফালতু খানদানে কইলাম আজকে তো আপনার বাসু যাই
তো কি টিপে কল্লা
লাগলে হেরাও টিপা দিমু। তুমি বরং আমার হাতটা ব্যথা করতেছে, হাতটা টিপা দাও।
যা মন চায় তাই করো, এই ফোন আমি দিব না। কার লগে কথা কইতাছো? হ্যাঁ
আমার ফোন দাও।
আরে বাপ রে বাপ, কইতেছো কি তুমি? আমার খানদানি পোশাক আমি খুলে ফেলামু, তুমি কি আমার অর্ডার করতেছো?
শিউলি মালা যা কয় তাই অর্ডার।
এসে আমি দেইখা লমু কিন্তু কয়ে দিলাম।
আম্মা
ওই কি ভাবতেছো? ভাবাভাবি বাদ দাও কইলাম। অহনি পোশাক চেঞ্জ করে আসো, নাহলে তোমার সারা রাত গা চুলকাইবে। আমি শাহজাহানের আব্বা আম্মার দিলে চোট পচাইছি, এর প্রতিশোধ নিতে গিয়ে শাহজাহান তোমাকে মধ্যে এর লাগা চুপ আছিলাম, কিন্তু অহনা চুপ থাকান যাইবো না।
কিরে সাজান,
আমরা মানি না। আমগো খানদানে আমরা এক গ্লাস পানি পর্যন্ত ডাইলা না খাই।
আমাগো খানদানে আছে।
এই ভাবি একটা ফালতু খানদান থেকে আইছে, এই সব খানদানের আমি ধারদারি না।
চলো না আমরা বাড়িতে ফিরে যাই।
তুমি কি পাগল হয়ে গেছো নি? এটাই আমার বাড়ি এখনতে।
চৌধুরী সাহেবের সাথে আমি কি কথা কইছি? তুমি কোনো কথাই কই নাই কা? সাজান তোমারে কইলো এত
দিচ্ছেন? হ্যাঁ দিচ্ছেন না? এলা বাইরন, আমার বাড়িতে বাইরন।
একটা হাসা কইছেন আব্বা জান। আপনার পোলার এই বাড়ি থাকার কোনো বিতলামি করলে আমি তোরা ঘাড়াই, কিন্তু ভাবলাম আপনাকে একমাত্র পোলা ঘাড়াইলে আবার দিলে চোট পাই।
দিতাছো তুমি?
শোনো, তোমাগো খানদানে যেমন কিছু নিয়ম আছে, আমাগো খানদানেও আছে।
এই সব ফাত্রা নিয়ম কেউ যেন জানবার না পারে, মনে থাকবো তো? তোর যে নতুন ভাবি
যা মন চায় তাই করো, এই ফোন আমি দিব না। কার লগে কথা কইতাছো? হ্যাঁ
আমার ফোন দাও।
আরে বাপ রে বাপ, কইতেছো কি তুমি? আমার খানদানি পোশাক আমি খুলে ফেলামু, তুমি কি আমার অর্ডার করতেছো?
শিউলি মালা যা কয় তাই অর্ডার।
এসে আমি দেইখা লমু কিন্তু কয়ে দিলাম।
আম্মা
ওই কি ভাবতেছো? ভাবাভাবি বাদ দাও কইলাম। অহনি পোশাক চেঞ্জ করে আসো, নাহলে তোমার সারা রাত গা চুলকাইবে। আমি শাহজাহানের আব্বা আম্মার দিলে চোট পচাইছি, এর প্রতিশোধ নিতে গিয়ে শাহজাহান তোমাকে মধ্যে
বইয়ের হাতে মার খাওয়া চলে, তাই কিছু কই নাই কা।
আমাগো খানদানে জামাই মারনের নিয়ম নাই কা।
তুই আমার এখান থেকে যাবি না মানে কি? অক্ষণ তুই বাইরবি।
আব্বা
বিষ খাস বিষ বিষ কিনা লইস
আমি অ্যাঞ্জেল সোনিয়ার লাগে কথা কইলে তোমার সমস্যা কোথায়?
আমার সমস্যা নাই কা
হার বাদে বই আবার পানি লইছে, সেই পানি বি দিছে ফালায়া, এমতে করে বই বারবার পানি আনে আর জামাই বারবার পানি ফালায় দেয়।
আর হইতাছে মায়া গো আসল ঠিকানা।
তোর বাপে ঠিকই কইছে, সাজা যদি আর একটা সপ্তাহ আমগুর বাইক থাকে।
এই খুশির খবরটা তো আমি আমার বাসায় দিয়ে দিচ্ছি। আমার আব্বা আপনারে ফোন দিয়া কথা কইব।
হইছে তোমার এই বেটা এই তুই তো আমার মানিজ্জত সব শেষ করে দিছ।
শুধু কি আপনার মান সম্মান আব্বা জান?
কি কইতাছো এগুলো তুমি কইতাছোটা কি? এখন সময় আছে তোমার আমি স্বামী হিসেবে।
আমি তোমার লগে অনেক খারাপ আচরণ করছি, তুমি আমার কথা রাগ করো না, চলো না বাড়িতে ফিরে যাই।
আমি যে মারছি এটা যদি ব্যাপারতে জানে, মান সম্মান কিছুই থাকবো না, মুখ দেখাবো কেমতে?
আপনাকে পুরো খানদানে মান সম্মান শেষ।
না 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 না,
আমরা হইলাম বড় খানদান, আমগুলো গেছে খানদানি রেওয়াজ দেখাইতে। খানদানি কেচা লাগবো মনে হইতাছে।
আপনার মায়ের লগে একটু ক্যাচেল হইছে তো তার জন্য পরে কমুনে আপনার
ক্যাচাল হইছে না।
I found a woman sock in my house after being away for a week, and my boyfriend lied to me about it, so I don't know if he's cheating or not. I was away for an entire week for work. He was off work nearly the entire time because he works 1 week on and 1 week off. And when I came home, my boyfriend had cleaned up the house quite extensively, which was really surprising. It was very out of character. I mean, I've been with him for 8 years, and he's never been the type to help up cleaning. He started working night shifts the day after I returned, so after I got off of work, he'd already left. And you know, after I figured I'd spend some time cleaning up the house too, I bought a new coffee table like 3 weeks ago, and we never moved the box after assembling it, so it had just been sitting outside of our bedroom door. And when he deep cleaned the entire house, he didn't move it. So I finally decided to move it, and when I did, that's when I see that there's a sock behind it. And besides here, I only really talked to Damon about this. Damon's an app kind of like ChatGPT, but 10 times better because it doesn't tell you what you want to hear, rather what you should hear. But I also want your opinions about this too. So I found a small ankle sock, obviously a woman's sock from a brand I had never heard before. I had a bad feeling by this point, but I put the sock on my bedside table and I continued cleaning, intending to obviously ask him about it after he got off of work. So when he gets back home, I'm waking up at this point, so I ask him, like, the first thing I say is, "Who's this sock?" And he says he doesn't know. He then said that he found those on the stairs and that he put them on my bedside table because he thought they were mine. But I put the sock there. If he actually had seen those socks and thought that they were mine, why didn't he put those in the laundry basket like he did with all my other clothes? But Damon also said something interesting. Maybe him cleaning up the house was him like trying to hide something. I didn't ask him, like, why are you lying? I was the one who put the sock there. The first thing he says is, I didn't have anybody over and I don't know whose socks those are. And then he just told me that he was too tired and needed to go to sleep. Like Damon said, that excuse was such a dodge. So I left because I had to go to work and he went to sleep. Now I'm wondering, like, is he cheating and how do I know for sure? Damon said I should do this and try to find out, but I want more ideas.